action.
Hello. Welcome to What's Your Fantasy? I'm Michelle.
I'm Daisha.
I'm Taylor.
And today we're going to be talking about pleasure and our opinions on sex work and everything that we've been looking into for the past couple weeks. We wanted to start off, this is going to be a very opinionated video just because we wanted to share our thoughts and feelings towards something that we usually don't get to talk about. So, I kind of wanted to start with talking about um, the idea of pleasure and what that means to me. For me personally, pleasure doesn't have to be a sexual thing. Pleasure could be just anything that you gain happiness from. Like, I find pleasure in watching TV,
Sleeping.
sleeping. I find
Reading.
pleasure.
When I get the chance.
I find pleasure in reading.
She finds pleasure in reading.
And Netflix.
And
Yes.
Netflix. She loves
You
Netflix.
you
And
Xfinity, Netflix, Amazon are lovers. Best friends.
We're intimate.
What do I
But
find
I also,
pleasure in?
yeah, I also believe that pleasure is more than sex. However, when you do first think of pleasure, like for me personally, when someone says pleasure, I always like associate it with sexual, things rather than something else. And then it takes me a minute, like, oh, okay, you're talking about something else. But my first thought goes to sex when you say pleasure.
Yeah. And then we were asked to think about how, as an African American lesbian, how selling the idea of pleasure in the hood, like what we think about that. Um, Honestly, I think that sex sells, and so it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not as easy for her to do it, but if you find the right location, if you have the right business plan, doing a sex store in the black community isn't going to be much of a big deal because I think black people are sexual beings anyway. We're humans.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really see it as a big deal, especially today. Being gay, lesbian, transgender, and all that stuff is much more commonly acceptable. So, especially for girls, like being a lesbian is much more acceptable than, in the black community than it used to be. So, selling sex toys and all that stuff, I don't think it's going to be hard to do to break into the black community because I think we're openly receptive to that.
Do you think that race has a big impact on selling in like sex stores? Do you think that white women would have an easier time or black women? Or like, what are your thoughts on like race in general in this, business?
I think white people are more susceptible. It's just like when I think of sex shops, I think of white people. I don't know why.
Yeah, me too, but I don't think it's because
I
we're
don't put it
not.
past black people.
Yeah, I don't think it's just because it's a race thing. I think it's just something that's just not as popular in our community. But yet, I feel like everybody has always found their like a little toy in their mom's room. So I think it's when we hit a certain maturity level that we begin to explore our sexuality. But I think it's much more of a private thing.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the subject of sex as sex work. My personal opinion on sex work is I don't approve of it. Um, we've been talking a lot about in class about how you cannot assume somebody is a hoe or a slut just based off of their work. But it's hard when you see somebody like or a porn star or a stripper and all they do is sell their bodies. It's hard not to say, well, she's not a hoe. She just, lets everybody touch her. Like, I'm not saying that that's got to be the kind of person you are, but there's got to be some point where you define a hoe. Like, what defines a hoe? If that's not, I'm not saying if every stripper's a hoe, but if that's not part of the definition of a hoe, then hoes don't exist, in my opinion. And I just feel like there's a certain point where, like, if you're okay with doing that, that's you. But I feel like there's a certain point where intimacy has to occur at some point in your life. Like,
Well, some people, like some people in the sex industry have talked about how they won't do certain things, like they won't kiss, but they'll have sex because to them kissing is more intimate than the actual sex act. So like that's like for some of them that's like their line of where they believe that they're truly intimate and then what they will and won't do.
when I'm talking about intimacy is a sense of privacy. Like, I feel like if you're willing to show, like, I'm not gonna get on video and show my body everywhere to everybody just because I feel like I
It's something
respect
that's
it too
supposed to
much.
be secluded to that person that you want to be with. Like, I'm not gonna just be walking around. Like, there's no purpose in you wearing clothes then, in my eyes. Like, if you're walking around selling your body,
Yeah, it's not special anymore. You can put on a suit and try and be somebody else, but it loses its value. I feel like when everybody's had it, and that's just how things are. That's how economics work, supply and demand. And we've been like we talk a lot in class, like, and I'm open about my sexuality. Like I've had sex with plenty of people, and I'm still having sex with people, and I watch porn and all of that stuff. And I'm very open about it. But there's a certain line that's drawn. I'm not just, posting pictures of myself half naked on Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever. I don't do thirst traps or any of that. I'll have sex with somebody I just met, sure, I've had one night stands. We all have. I have, not all of us have. But like I don't know. It's just I feel like it's all here. Everybody doesn't know what I do, and everybody don't need to know. I mean, well, everybody knows now, but everybody don't know no details. Y'all ain't seen nothing. Ain't no videos. It wasn't for money. I did it out of my own personal desire, and that's it. And that's my opinion on sex work. Ladies, how do you feel?
I don't know. You just pretty much explained everything.
I would say that from an economical standpoint, I would agree that sex work is, valid. I wouldn't say that, from an economical standpoint, we should stop sex workers just because they bring in so much money to the state. Like it's like one of the largest, businesses out there. And
Especially since it's so popular.
It's so popular, and then especially now that the internet is so widespread, and it's so easy to go online and see this stuff. It also like there's a percentage of rapes that have gone down since it's became a big thing, and like I just feel like there are a lot of like positives that go into it just because it's more readily available than it was back then. However, from a moral standpoint, I feel like it degrades women because it makes people believe, or implies that we're not more than our bodies.
It degrades men too.
It degrades
I
men
see a
as well.
dude
Yeah.
that I know personally, and I accidentally see one of your videos
Yeah.
on the internet, that's not cool. Like, really, nigga? Really?
We're in a video.
Really, nigga?
We're making a video for.
For the freaks and geeks.
Yeah. We're
say
talking about sex work.
What
How do you feel about
sex
it?
work? Like us.
Sex
Stop
work.
doing me.
Yeah.
You always say you like to get
One of our
down so you can
videos.
see. They can see you.
What is sex work?
Sex work is like
Porn,
porn,
prostitution,
prostitution, strippers.
You're saying how?
How do you feel about it? Do you approve? Do you not approve?
Oh, you know.
We just said we approve of it, economically, but we don't approve of it morally.
Yeah, it is pretty fucked up. You get nutted on for a paycheck, or there's nothing on for a paycheck. That's a tough situation. 'Cause, I mean, everybody likes sex. We all do it anyway. You might as well get paid for it. But I think it just depends on how you feel about it morally as a person.
My issue is that I can watch porn all day, but I'm not gonna look at it and be like, that's a respectable young lady right there.
That's what I want to be when I grow up.
That's
true.
not.
And some people are cool going to leaving there with their paycheck. They don't think about it. They don't think about. Also when they have kids, if they have kids.
How would you feel dating someone,
Oh, man.
knowing that they go to this job and then
that wouldn't be able to happen.
You wouldn't be able to have.
What if she don't want to be a freak no more?
No matter. She's getting cum shots on the internet. And then say we fall in love and have a baby, then when my baby one day looks her up,
Yeah.
that's your mom.
So you wouldn't be able to.
Then my daughter's gonna be like, oh, so I can do that.
Yeah, no.
See, it's a hard situation. Personally, I think it is I damn near don't. I want to say because like everybody watches porn, but like at the end of the day, nobody want to date a porn star. So it's all. I don't know how to put it in words. It's just.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's valid. A valid opinion.
Pinky disgusts me to the depths of my soul.
Who's Pinky?
It's,
Oh. Mm.
Clearly, I don't.
She went from big to real slim too, though.
I don't care. She disgusts me. Like, I could not.
What do you mean slim to real big?
Nah, she was bigger and she got skinnier.
No.
Maybe I watched her videos.
You're watching them out of order.
So she got big. She used to be small.
Yeah, she used to be small. Now she's like huge. Like,
I thought she was a reversal.
Why?
I mean,
she
she's
get
always
big?
been a bigger girl, but
So she's a porn star. She's not a stripper.
no,
She's
a
a
porn
porn
star.
star.
Strippers, I mean, although some people are like strippers don't actually fuck sometimes.
Yeah.
When a baller comes in and
Most-
is like,
yeah.
"Hey, I'll throw you 50 extra bands if you come back and get flipped," I'm sure a lot of them take that deal.
And then
Hey, but if they're committed to you,
I'm not
then
even
they
gonna
would.
lie. If I was a stripper and
That's
somebody
true.
said that,
at that
I'll
point,
be
I
in
don't
the
have
back.
anything. Yeah, I don't have
You gotta
anything
trust
to
the
lose.
fuck out of your girl if you gonna date a stripper. I don't think I would. I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't. And that's not like
I
an
just-
insecurity. That's just straight up like I just don't want.
I
my
just don't
girl
want nobody
being seen
touching
by
what's
nobody.
mine. Like, look, I don't even want you looking at what's mine. I couldn't date a male stripper. Like, that's mine. Put it up. Don't show everybody that. That's for me. I ain't got time for that.
I think male strippers are just so disgusting. Like,
Yeah.
if I have a
can take-
bachelor party, I promise y'all, if y'all have a male stripper at my bachelor party, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I can take
It's
them
gonna be-
seriously.
I don't like it because
I don't know how I
every
feel about
time,
that.
every
You're
time
like
I
my
see
child
a
now.
video
I know,
with
right?
like, every time I see a video with male strippers, it always ends up the girls are sucking his dick, and I'm like, that ain't how my party's supposed to work. If you come into my party, I'm getting head. I ain't giving head. What I look like? I paid you to give you head? No, that's why no. Don't send me no male strippers, and because one, I don't want their mouth on mine. Nothing. Two, I'm still with somebody. I'm engaged. That's what people don't understand. When you have bachelor parties, you're not single. You still have a girlfriend.
That's real.
Beyonce.
You're not single. You're married to Mara.
Great.
No, for real.
Yeah,
Man,
that's how we feel. Did you? Wasn't took away.
I just said
are you trying to wrap this up?
you know, you
No,
already
no.
can tell by her voice when it's
No.
That's how we feel.
Yep. Okay.
This is Freaks and Geeks coming to you live.
Freaks and geeks. No.
That's what's your fantasy. You can send the video.
Sneaking and
off.
geeking. Bye.
Dexter.
Bye.